So there you have it, guys. Just a small sample of some of the things you find on the Tommy Toehold Show. Definitely go to YouTube, check it out. The Tommy Toehold Show, not really that hard to find. But we're going to have him on next, and we're going to be chatting to him about a whole bunch of things.
That's right, Cass. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, strap yourself in. Our next guest is one of the biggest and funniest guys in the MMA industry. He's a YouTube sensation. Ladies and gentlemen, on Submission Radio, we have Tommy Toehold. Tommy, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, it's awesome. Absolutely great to have you, Tommy. We've got a whole bunch of questions for you in regards to your show. I guess the burning question will be, how did it all start? How did it all come together?
Well, it was sort of an accident. I didn't really plan on being a cartoon. What happened was I was an English teacher, and the school that I was working for had to make some budget cuts, and they let go of a lot of the young teachers because that would make the most sense to get rid of the young and ambitious teachers instead of the older ones. And they, as I was looking for other work, I've always been a huge fan of mixed martial arts, so I decided to start doing just a little something on the side for fun, and that's what the show ended up being. I really had no intention of it going where it went. It wasn't even a cartoon, actually, initially. That actually came from necessity. I didn't have the proper equipment to video myself, so I was forced to make a cartoon, and then actually that took it in the direction that it ended up going, where it was a more humorous take, and then the fake interviews started, and it all just sort of snowballed. I wish I could say that there was some master plan behind all of this, but it was very much by accident.
Damn it, no master plan. Okay. Now, Tommy, obviously your show is, a huge hit with MMA fans. I think it speaks loudly about, the kind of culture that MMA has worldwide. I mean, your show is loved by MMA fans all around the world, no matter, the culture or the country that they're from.
Yeah, it's really kind of mind-blowing. I'm not used to the whole thing. Kind of threw me off in the first place. Anytime anybody recognizes the show or anything like that, that kind of freaks me out. But even talking to you right now, in Australia, it just blows me away because, for the show to make that kind of reach, to have that sort of reach, it baffles me. I can't really wrap my head around it. Every single day, there are moments where I'm just like, how did this, even get to where it's at? It's just crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just goes to show you've got fans literally all over the world, such as us in Australia. When you obviously began the show, you said that it wasn't exactly, it's not what you had envisioned of what it became. What were you hoping for it to become? Was it just like a video blog of basically like, or an audio blog of yourself talking about MMA?
Yeah, it was going to be like a video blog. It was going to be me in front of a camera, and it was actually called Pulling Guard. Which is a terrible name. And it was really just me talking about, things that were happening in mixed martial arts. There's a lot of vloggers that will sort of review fights and things like that. And that was kind of what I had in mind. But because of the equipment issues, I thought, well, I'll make a cartoon. And because it was a cartoon, it just didn't really lend itself to serious analysis. So I sort of forced myself to give it a little more humorous take because I thought, well, if it's a cartoon character talking, nobody's going to take the cartoon seriously. So I need to kind of make some jokes. And that's sort of where it went. But yeah, it was going to be more of just analysis and probably would not have lasted more than a couple weeks. And I wouldn't be talking now.
Now, Tommy, you're a bit like the Batman of MMA, whereas no one knows who you really are. I suppose it's one of the biggest mysteries in MMA going around, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger. But have you ever been around, MMA fans or MMA public in general, and they're talking about, the Tommy Toehold show, and it's sort of, your show, but you can't say anything about it. And it's kind of like, hearing what people think about you without actually being there.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. I went to a fight, UFC fight, and I was looking around the crowd, and I saw a woman wearing a Tommy Toehold T-shirt, and I wanted to go over there and talk to her. So, I was all excited. I saw this woman, and I'm starting to walk over to her section, and I stop, and I'm like, wait a second. She has no idea who I am. Like, I can't just go over to her and say, hey, it's me, Tommy. She's not going to know, So I sort of backtracked on that. It is a bit bizarre. It's really bizarre when you run into people who talk about it, and they don't know that you're Tommy. You know, like my family and my close friends, they know that I'm Tommy. But when I, interact with other MMA fans, which I have gone to events and things like that, and I hear somebody mention Tommy, it's just kind of bizarre to me. It's sort of like you're invisible in the room. It's really cool. It's definitely a different experience. I've met a few fighters as well, and revealed my identity to them, and that was an interesting situation. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's cool being this sort of this man of mystery. I really like it. I think I'm going to keep it going as long as I can.
Awesome. And obviously you mentioned the T-shirts. We've seen quite a few fighters. We saw Ronda Rousey wearing a T-shirt. That would have been pretty awesome for yourself. How did the T-shirts all come about? Yeah,
that was wild. Someone approached me, a guy who was a business owner, and he came to me with the idea of T-shirts. I'd wanted to do T-shirts, but I didn't really have the capital or the means to do so, and this gentleman did. So I was able to partner with him, and we were able to get the shirts going. And then, I didn't really have any sort of marketing budget, so I started, reaching out to fighters, seeing if I could get them into their hands, and some fighters just got them on their own without me even, mentioning it. It was very cool. It was still bizarre to see pictures of fighters with T-shirts. Again, it's all I can't even describe how every day I'm like, I was an English teacher like 2 years ago, and now, you've got people wearing shirts and all these other things, and it's just it's a really cool experience. And the fighters that have done it and helped me out, it's been awesome.
Hey, Tommy, obviously, like you said, 2 years ago, you were an English teacher, but were you ever at a point when you first started out where you thought, maybe this wouldn't work out, maybe this wouldn't be where it's at today? Have you ever had points where you, just frustrated with the whole thing?
Yeah, it was, I guess because I never really expected it to go anywhere. The early stages when it wasn't really doing much, I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's not a big deal. It's, not my job. It's just this thing I'm doing on the side. If nobody sees it, it's okay. It was for me. And then I would say around 3 or 4 months in, there were starting to be some developments where I started thinking this might actually be something I could do for money. I didn't think necessarily for a living, but I thought maybe it could give me some kind of side income. So at that point, I started taking it more seriously. And yeah, there were definitely ups and downs. I worked with a company called Crave Online, and I was with them for a little bit, and then transitioning back from there to YouTube, I was a little bit concerned about how it would all work out. But yeah, in the long run, it's been a very smooth ride. There've only been a few hiccups here and there where I thought, wow, this isn't good. But I have such great fans. They really keep it going, and they keep me honest. If I don't get a show done, they are harassing me. So it's very cool. But yeah, there've definitely been a few moments here and there, especially really early on, where I wasn't 100% sure if this thing was going to make it.
Well, that's really awesome to hear about the fans. Obviously, with business, it's all about supply and demand. And if obviously the demand is exceeding the supply, that's nothing but good for yourself. They actually played your show on UFC Tonight. Tell us about that, and was that obviously a big highlight for yourself?
Yeah. UFC Tonight was very cool. I did about 10 segments, and that was just probably the most surreal moment of all as far as the experience so far. Chael has always been a big supporter of the show, a big fan of the show. He's actually done the show a few times early on in the early part of the first year, and he was able to help get that going as well. And the UFC and Zuffa, it's been great. Dana White, Lorenzo Fertittas, everybody in both Fox and UFC has just been tremendous to me. That was the thing that got me was I was watching the first broadcast they had it on, and they had sort of like cut a little promo pre-commercial to let you know what was coming next. And they were talking about my segment, and to hear this, professional announcer guy who, I don't know how much he gets paid, but he was sitting in a booth and he had to say Tommy Toehold. It just, I don't know. It just kind of hit me. I was like, wow, this is just crazy. Like I couldn't stop smiling. But the Fox stuff was really cool. I'm hoping to do more in the future, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, it would have been. It must have been absolutely music to your ears when you heard him announce your name. I wanted to ask you. So, as far as like things that Dana White and the Fertittas brothers did for you, what exactly? Exactly did they help you out? What did they do for you?
Well, I mean, they've just all been very kind in allowing me to make fun of their. You know what I mean? They've definitely helped. Well, Dana's tweeted out the show quite a bit. You know, he's tweeted out several episodes. Yeah, I would say Lorenzo's also, you know, he's tweeted out some stuff too, and just they're backing me on social media and, you know, kind of garnering the whole Fox thing and getting that rolling. And, you know, yeah, I would say they've helped in terms of getting the word out and then, you know, helping get the Fox stuff rolling.
You know, Tommy, us being MMA journalists and being in the industry ourselves, we know, you know, there's a fine line between asking the wrong questions where people get offended. Obviously, Dana and Lorenzo love your show, but do you ever think about when you put a show together, geez, you know, this might ruffle a few feathers when I put it out?
Yeah, most definitely. It's definitely a fine line. You know, I try to not be offensive. Generally speaking, I try to respect the fighters, I guess. So even though I am poking fun at them, it's usually surface things. It's not really things that necessarily, you know, are going to dig at their profession, I suppose I would say. So I don't really try to make fun of necessarily the fighters and how they're doing. So if a fighter has a really tough loss, you know, I'm generally not going to, you know, beat that guy down on the next episode. I might make a joke about the fight itself, but I'm not going to, you know, criticize what they do. So it's definitely it's a thin line to walk, but the feedback I've gotten from fighters and from other people in the world of mixed martial arts seems to be I'm walking the line well. If I do go over, you know, I definitely don't want that. So yeah, I definitely am conscious about what I do, and if I'm being honest, I've definitely pulled back in the past on jokes or bits that I thought would maybe be funny, but you know, they might have been too offensive to the parties involved, so I kind of just let it go.
Yeah, and just speaking about that, obviously when you started the show out, you might have not thought that all these fighters, you know, would be listening to it, that so many people would be listening to it. So I suppose you had a lot more freedom in the kind of jokes that you could do. Now that, you know, you are closely monitored by guys in the UFC, by guys like Dana, I suppose it's also you know, about putting out the same content with the same laughs, you know, staying true to your original fans, but you also have to cater, you know, to a more wider audience as well and be careful in that regard. Do you find that difficult?
No, I think I've always sort of tried to walk that line. I don't think I've ever been, you know, concerned about an episode that I've done even in the past where I thought, well, maybe that was a little bit too much. I feel like I've been trying to do it respectfully the whole time. So it really hasn't changed too much. Honestly, there are a lot more eyes on the show. You know, there's fighters that watch the show. Like you said, you know, a lot of people are seeing it in the industry itself. So yeah, it's definitely something I guess maybe I think about more, but I don't think I've really had to adjust the show very much. It's just not really in my nature to be mean-spirited, which I know is funny because, you know, my show makes fun of everybody, but I guess it's coming from a respectful place. It's hard to describe. I have a disclaimer in the description of the videos, and it basically just runs down kind of my thoughts on mixed martial arts. And, you know, I have utmost respect for anybody that's going to walk into the cage or anybody that's involved with the industry in general. These people all work very hard, you know, and at the end of the day, I don't want to, you know, try to bring somebody down. That's not really what I'm doing it for. So, yeah, I guess maybe there is a little bit more thinking about it because there are so many people watching, but the show's been relatively the same, I think, since the beginning.
Now, you've obviously come a long way. The show has recently hit over 100 episodes, so congratulations on that one. And so far, of all the shows you've done, what would you say has been the most fun show?
Oh, wow. I really like, well, first of all, thank you. Yeah, 100 episodes, that was crazy. I didn't really think I'd ever get there. I guess if I had to say, I really enjoy I call them triple THS shorts. So they're like, they're segments without Tommy, essentially, where I sort of do these skits or things. So I had one that was called GSP's Day Off. And it was all of the things that George would be doing in his retirement. This is right after he had said he was going to walk away. And, he's out dancing. He goes and visits Nick and tries to reconcile with him. Just stupid stuff where I can take these personalities and throw them into these ridiculous situations. And it's, it's just goofy and it's a lot of fun. I recently did a Star Wars parody episode, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I really like those sorts of episodes. I think the thing I'm most proud of, and I guess I still get a lot of joy out of, is I did a Punch-Out video. So it was in the style of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out from the Nintendo.
Yep.
And it was Anderson Silva being knocked out by Chris Weidman. And I didn't think I had it in me artistically to be able to pull that off, but still one of my favorite things. And I really enjoy it.
We were actually watching it right before the show, before obviously, yeah, the show. It was really good. You did really well, and it was really awesome. Speaking of actually doing goofy things, this is actually a world-renowned thing that we're going to do right now. It's called the Submission Radio Tapout Round, as rated in GQ magazine. Previous contestants of the Tapout Round have been Randy Couture, Rich Franklin, Uriah Faber, TJ Dillashaw, Jake Ellenberger just did one, and Coach Wink is on next after you, and he's going to be doing his second one. Are you ready?
Oh, wow. I don't even know what we're doing, but I'm so ready for this. Let's go.
So we'll be asking you a bunch of questions. It's kind of like word association, so it's basically quick answers from yourself. This is the getting to know you round.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Ariane's greatest project outside the UFC. What do you think it is?
Her music career.
Okay, if you could put any celebrity in a toe hold, who would it be?
Oh, Justin Bieber.
What's the best thing about making fun of Jon Jones?
Doing his voice.
So you got Justin Bieber in a toe hold. Would you let go of the hold once he tapped, or would you crank until the referee had to pry your hands apart and then pull out of the John Fitch fight?
Yeah, no, I'm going full Paul Harris on that. I'm not stopping.
What does Anderson Silva sound like when he's ordering a burger at Burger King?
Hey guys, so I was hoping you could give me the Whopper with cheese.
If you had to choose between a lifetime of being trained by Fedor, Anderson Silva, and Jon Jones, or go on one date with Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, and Misha Tate, what kind of suit would you wear to dinner?
That date sounds really complicated. I don't know if I would be able to entertain all three of them at the same time. You know what? I would probably wear a tuxedo shirt.
What's the weirdest place you've seen a Tommy Toehold shirt worn?
Oh, wow. In a garbage can.
If you had to, and we do stress you had to, get a fighter tattooed onto your body, who would be the fighter and where? And death is not an option.
You know what? I would get Brian Ebersol, and I would get him on my back. It would be a giant mural to Brian Ebersol and the manscaped arrow in his chest hair.
Nice.
What do you think is Roy Nelson's biggest secret?
That he secretly enjoys everything about Dana White.
Now, the Jake Shields versus John Fitch fight seems to be coming together. Who do you think should sponsor the fight out of the following options? Trojan, Durex, KY Jelly, or Maury Povich?
Oh, God. Oh, man, I wasn't expecting that. Let's say Maury Povich. Let's do that.
MMA is a boring name for the sport. Which one do you prefer more? Here we go. We've got MMSCFOC, Mixed Martial Skill Challenge Fight Opportunity Championship, the GPSFL, Gentlemen Playing Scallywag Fisticuffs League, or MMA, Marshall mixed ants.
You know what? Fisticuffs makes it sound really classy. Let's go with that one.
Yep. Fantasy fight between a heavyweight and 4 flyweights, and you're Joe Silva. Who's in the fight?
Oh my goodness. Geez. Okay, well, heavyweight, I think just for the pure spectacle of everything, since we're trying to get a huge size differences, would have to be Bigfoot Silva. I just think that would make the most sense. And man, flyweights, they're so tiny. I'm picking 4 of them.
Yep.
4 flyweights. Okay. I am going to go with, well, you got to have Demetrius Johnson. He's the champ. I think that makes the most sense. Let's go with John Dotson. He's entertaining. Let's go with Ian McCall. Again, another fan favorite if we're trying to sell tickets here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then let's throw Joseph Benavidez in there. That sounds like, I'm telling you what, that would be a pretty good pay-per-view. I would buy that.
Everyone would buy that, especially in Russia where they're doing like 60 on 60 tag team matches.
all I'm saying is if they want to improve their ratings on Fox, it's an idea that Dana has to consider. Okay, on to the next question. Tommy, finish this flow of words. Octagon, octopus, Olympus has fallen.
What in the world? Let's see. You know what? I'm going to say gooftopus. I used that word today with Dana White. Gooftopus.
Awesome. Now, the Tommy Toehold Show is making big waves. We hear that you'll be taking over commentary for David Attenborough in a documentary about endangered butterflies. Any truth to these rumors?
100%. I'm all about the endangered butterflies. We gotta save them.
Tommy, why is Dennis Hallman so sexy?
Wait. What did you say? Did you say Dennis Hallman?
Sorry, I said, Tommy, why is Dennis Hallman so sexy?
Oh. It's got to be the hair, man. It's got to be the ridiculous blonde Val Kilmer in Top Gun hair.
Oh man,
Yep.
ever since his fight against Brian Ebersol, the image unfortunately is still ingrained in our minds. We haven't been able to get that out of there.
I think we're tapping to the tap out round ourselves today.
All right, and now let's assume hypothetically, Tommy, you had to be whisked away by the Witness Protection Program, and you had to start a new life under a different name. Now, the Submission Radio marketing team has come up with some alternative names for you, and you got to pick the one that you would lean towards the most. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
So we've got Ron Renaked, Chris Kimura, Hank Heelhook, or DJ Easy Dick.
I like Hank Heelhook. That's a good one. That actually flows really well. I could use that on the show right now.
Tommy, we've had a few fans write in there asking, apart from the T-shirt line, is there a Tommy Toehold lingerie line coming out soon?
There needs to be. As soon as you said that, I just got envisioned panties with Tommy's beard, making the triangle at the bottom. I think that's perfect.
Nice. Dennis, do you have any more questions for the tap out round?
That is it. And I think, Tommy, honestly, that was a good tap out round. I think that tap out round might have made us tap ourselves. That's how tappy it was this time around.
I think Tommy Toehold broke us in the tap out round. And I think it's probably the most fun we've ever had in an interview.
Nice.
Guys, you can follow him on Twitter at Tommy Toehold. Check out the show, The Tommy Toehold Show. It's on YouTube. Go on his website. It is ttths.com. Get yourself a sexy Tommy Toehold shirt worn by many, many fighters. And subscribe and show some love, guys. Tommy, you are absolutely welcome on the show anytime.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. That was a lot of fun. That was honestly some of the most fun I think I've ever had doing a radio show.
Well, you haven't heard it first. We're going to use that quote on every flyer we ever create. Tommy, it's been a pleasure. Guys, stay tuned. Mike Winklejohn is coming up right after this.